Good morning, Wednesday morning, heading to Powtoon in Tel Aviv for the day, having lunch with Judah Taub from Hetz Ventures, a young VC investing in deep tech. And then tonight in Ashkelon, I'm giving a talk to a Birthright Taglit group about tech in Israel. So it's going to be a fantastic day. Let's do this. Made it to Tel Aviv, heading to Powtoon now. In other news though, I replaced the mic on the camera, so I'm going to have some different audio, and the levels on the screen, the audio levels are showing me that the right and left are not even. So I'm curious, how's the sound? Do you hear any difference? I'm hoping it's just a bug with the visual and not really with the audio. Anywho, made it early enough to get parking, so that's good. A beautiful, perfect Tel Aviv morning. Stepping out of Powtoon right now to go to lunch at Memphis Burger with Judah Taub from Hetz Ventures. And then, after lunch, I have an interview at Powtoon with maybe, perhaps, the most interesting person in the whole company. Stay tuned for that, but for now, burgers. I'm at Memphis, and the owner's wife just said something really interesting. What did you just say to me? The owner, sorry. Repeat what you just said. What you just told me.
We sent here a lot of friends that come and tell me my friend Hillel sent me. And then
they don't pay me, by the way. All right, this is the best burger in Tel Aviv. You should come check it out. And Judah Taub, the one and only. Say hello. You've been on the vlog before. All right, I'm going to shut this off because we got to eat burgers. I can officially say I was the first to introduce Judah Taub to Memphis Burger. How was that?
It's tasty.
Tasty. It was incredible, man. That is like the best burger in Tel Aviv. I love it. All right. I often talk about, and I'm not the only one that talks about it, a lot of people talk about it, but, you know, one of the biggest problems I'd say in the VC game, not only in Israel, but globally, is that oftentimes VCs don't understand their place in the chain of events when it comes to the growth and development of a company, and they often view themselves as a glorified checkbook, okay? And again, not only Israel, but also Israel. Whereas the real job of a good strategic investor is actually not to write the check, it's post-check, meaning the check should be the beginning of the process. And oftentimes VCs don't get that. Now, that's problem number one. Problem number two is, with such a mature and developed ecosystem like we have in Israel, there's kind of like the well-known names, the big VCs that are like the few $100 million VCs that everyone is aware of, and the young guns, the ones that are actually working their heart, hustling and investing in truly incredible companies, but are less focused on marketing, are often less known. Two problems solved by Hetz Ventures. Tell me about yourself a little bit.
I think the first one...
It's too humble though, that's a problem. You gotta work on that.
Yeah, so I think the first one we're doing a good job at. So we spend a lot of time with our portfolio companies, and we really try and bring a lot of value. So that usually involves meeting them regularly if they need, helping them on their business model, developing their business, introducing them to large corporations, potential partners and companies. We really just work to understand and really get our hands dirty.
What's your website, by the way? It's Hetz.vc?
Yeah.
H-E-T-Z, right?
Yeah.
H-E-T-Z, sorry.
Yeah.
But I just like to point out that only in Israel do you hear so many people honking their horns. It's like a thing. I just came back from New York. You don't even hear one person honking their horn. It's the craziest thing. Side point. Anyway, let me, before we actually jump into this, a little bit about you personally. What's your story? Where are you from? What's your deal?
Born in London, moved to Israel when I was a year old. Grew up in Israel, spent the vast majority of my life here.
Okay.
Moved back to the UK.
I'm not sure I knew that, by the way.
Yeah.
Did I know that? I'm not sure. You told me that in the past?
I think it's on one of your blogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay, cool. I didn't know you grew up here. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Just after marrying Leah, moved back to the UK. She finished her pediatric nursing degree there, and then after that we moved back to Israel.
Cool. And professionally speaking, like, what did you do your career? Where did you start your career? What was your first?
I worked for a short period in a startup. Quite quickly worked in a hedge fund.
Cool.
Did a lot to do with sort of big data.
May I ask your age?
29.
Holy cow. I hear about these 20-year-old, 20 in their 20s that are like kicking butt, and I'm like, what have I done with my life? It's very depressing. Okay, 29 years old, fine. So now let's talk about Hetz.
Yeah.
How big is this fund?
$55 million.
$55 million fund with your LPs being who?
Primarily large financial institutions, and high net worth individuals.
How did this come to be?
Also, I will refer you to one of your vlogs.
Oh God, I'm so bad. Worst vlogger ever. I actually do remember that conversation, but remind me, because it's been a while. It's been like over 100 episodes ago.
That's because you're releasing them very quickly.
That's true. Right, so just remind me the background here.
By and large, sort of following the hedge fund, Stuart Roden and Lord Feldman sort of approached me, and together the three of us decided to launch a fund.
Cool.
We got to know some really excellent guys in Israel that also joined. Neil Cohen, Shraga Katz, Pavel Lifshitz, Zulu Last, and Andrew Fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some of those guys are hotshots.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All of them.
All of them are hotshots. Well, some of them I know are hotshots, but okay. Could it be, though, that the last time I interviewed you, you weren't at the 55 million mark? Is that possible?
No, I think we were.
You were at 55 million first closing?
We did a first close at 48, and very quickly afterwards we did it.
Really?
So we didn't stay open for very long.
Very interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're investing in what?
So we're investing in...
Go watch your vlogs, Hillel.
That's also on the vlog.
I know.
No, but we're investing in companies where we think they can make a real big difference. So companies that we see as exits over 100 million, primarily in deep technologies. And when I say deep technologies, it's technologies or companies where the main question is, can this work? Can this technology succeed? Rather than, will there be a network effect? With the business model hold, we do B2B, not B2C, and we don't do life sciences. But outside of that, we do.
Really interesting. So first of all, I find it very interesting that you say 100 million is kind of like your threshold, because I feel like most, and I'm being careful here, but I feel like most investors I speak to throw out the B word.
Yeah.
We don't look at companies under $1 billion, which is nice, but like there's some incredible companies out there that, are building like hardcore, deep tech, impactful tech that aren't necessarily in the near future going to be a unicorn, but are still incredible companies to invest in, both from a an impact perspective and also from a technology and from just a good investment perspective in terms of returns and everything. So I like that you actually. You're on the one hand you're ambitious, but you're also realistic. I like that.
I think the main point is that very rarely when you're meeting a company which has nothing, literally seed or
you
even
can
before
see
seed,
$1 billion.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to try and sort of just say we're only investing in $1 billion, but the real question for us is there a cap at sort of 25, 30 for a variety of reasons, or this can go to 100 plus?
Got it. Okay, that's an interesting point. Now, one thing I know I didn't ask you on the last vlog, I might have, but the answer is definitely different since then, is tell me about the companies you invested in, whoever you're allowed to talk about, obviously.
So we've invested in 4 companies.
In how long, by the way?
In a year.
So you're pretty particular about your investments.
We've received 600 decks this year. We've met just under 300 companies. We've done thorough due diligence on sort of quite a lot, and we've invested in 4.
So 600 companies, you've invested in 4. That is quite a wow.
Well, it says something about the Israeli ecosystem.
What does it say?
Well, that we're able to see 600 in that specific spot that I described.
What was the number
earlier.
that I just posted an hour ago? Do you remember what I just told you? How much money was invested in Israeli tech in 2018?
You said 6 point, I think a high number, probably 7
6.47 billion in 623 deals in 2018 in a country smaller than New Jersey. I mean, whatever, that's just bananas. But, okay, so you saw 600 companies you invested in 4. Are all of them public knowledge yet or not?
Yeah, 2 are.
2 are, who are they?
The two are Trigger Vision and Jones.
Okay, like what's their elevator pitch? Hit me or not? Or you don't want? You'd rather not?
No, it's on your vlog.
Oh God, I'm so bad. All right, so you know what? Here's what we'll do. I'll one up. You're gonna introduce me to those guys, and we're gonna get them on the vlog. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. The bottom line is like this: if someone, and I know you're gonna be like, watch your vlog, but no, but listen, dude. The bottom line is, it was 100 episodes ago. Got some new viewers now, and you've upped your game. You've become like a serious VC. Then you were just getting started, so I'm okay interviewing you twice. It's totally fine. By the way, there are people that have been interviewed on this vlog like 4 or 5 times already. I'm cool with that because it's interesting people and it's an interesting story, so I like it. But if some entrepreneur is watching this and they meet your criteria, deep tech, impactful tech, potentially big business, and they want to get on your radar, they want to send you a deck or just get on your radar for you to know about them, even if they're maybe not be at the stage ready for your investment, they want to get on your radar. What's the best way to do that? Do you have a form on the website?
Yeah, on the website. We get back very quickly.
Awesome. Hetz.vc.
Yeah.
So there, you can upload a deck there and everything?
Yeah, you'll just reach out to us. We'll literally get back to you within a day.
Okay, so just fill out the form, reach out, tell him you saw him on the vlog, so he either ignores you more or they get back. I mean, that's the beauty of a relatively small, fast-moving VC is they're responsive and they're communicative, and that's great. And listen, let's just say this, and I'm being very careful with my words here. Let's just say that in the near future, if all goes well, we will have some things to talk about on the vlog.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah.
Well, more information to come. Stay tuned. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed the burger. We'll do this. We should do this more often. I'm running to my next meeting at Powtoon, but let's talk again soon. Appreciate the time. Thanks for lunch, dude. That was awesome. Appreciate it. Talk soon. Listen, this is the story, okay? Powtoon is a fascinating company for a whole bunch of reasons. Like, there are rules of startups, right? There's like, go raise money, you're never gonna reach like critical mass until you raise a boatload of money. We ignored that, we raised zero money, total bootstrap, massive traction, dominating the market, 96% of Fortune 500 companies. An interesting company, interesting CEO, interesting founders. But as I said before, today we are meeting one of the most interesting people in the entire company. Nicholas, that's his name, true story. Who the heck are you?
Well, hi, Hillel. First of all, thank you so much for coming by and being awesome. All the things you do.
How was the talk this morning, by the way? We're gonna get there.
We'll get there.
Slowly. Hillel, calm down.
Enlightening. It was enlightening. I loved it, actually. I'm Nick Liebman, head of content.
Can I call you Nicholas, though?
You can call me Nicholas if you want.
Can I just say something? When I interview people, I always apologize for interrupting them, but I feel like I feel like we have that vibe that it's cool if I totally jump in. All right,
interrupt, please.
Okay, yes, go on.
So, yes, actually, I did go by Nicholas. My first job in tech, I was working customer support. And
Nicholas.
I found, when I said, Nick, hi, thank you for calling. My name is Nick. How can I help you? People got mad at me. I don't know why. I have no idea. But when I started saying, thank you for calling. My name is Nicholas. How can I help you? I could control the call.
Can I say something
they
right
loved
now?
it.
I want to say something totally random.
Do
and
it.
I think like genuinely people are going to think I'm nuts when I say this. You'll probably think I'm nuts, but I'm going to say something. Quantify this. Mark my words. Test this thing and see if it works. You ready? The next time you want to sell something to anyone, I don't care if it's a sales call or if you're trying to convince your friend to go out for dinner, whatever. I don't care. You're asking somebody something, right? Generally, the normal people, when they talk, they say, can I do something? Even though the proper English is may I, we say can I. We just don't say may I.
Right.
Next time you're about to say something that starts with can I, start with may I.
Yeah.
And watch how your conversion rates increase.
Yeah, people respond to politeness.
By the way,
that's true.
literally the word may I will get you a better response rate than can I.
Yeah.
I've actually tested this. I'm not even joking. It's just total side point. But you said Nicholas. I'm just, anyway.
Well, it was a couple of things. One, I think there's that formality, and people would give a little more respect. It was like I was respecting them a little bit more by giving them my full name.
Right.
Show them that respect, and then also it takes a little bit longer to say Nicholas. Nick, K, very explosive. It happens, and it's like, whoa, what's his name? I didn't even catch it.
Right.
Nicholas.
You don't miss that.
Nicholas.
Love it.
Takes that time. And then my favorite question, about half the time, the question I would get is, are you real?
Yeah. Love it. Okay, got it. Okay, beautiful. Fine. So now let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Because, I mean, truly, jokes aside, cool hat, cool beard, cool look aside, you actually do have a fascinating story.
Thank you.
What's
yes.
your background?
So I come from Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City, and I studied music in college. I went to Grinnell College. I studied music composition, music technology.
Wow.
I love singing. I love performing.
Really?
I played in jazz groups.
Hit us, baby.
Guys
got pipes. Oh my God. By the way, now I'm going to say another thing that I think I've actually said this on the vlog before, but you don't know this about me. I don't believe in bucket lists, right? I feel like if something I want to do in life, I do it.
Amen.
I don't want to like one day, just do it.
Right.
I wanted to vlog, started vlogging, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that as a kid I dreamt of that I never kind of brought to fruition or I never did in my life, and by the way, I'm not regretting, like I love what I do and whatever, is singing. I love singing. I don't have a voice like you, but I love singing.
Get ready for the Hillel Fuld's album drop. It's coming soon. We'll work on it.
It's not gonna happen. I just kind of chose my path in life, which is fine, but I just, in the back of my head, like one day a dream, like an hour in a studio to record something. I love music. Like, I'll show you let's see if I could, I'll show you if I could find it. There was someone was recording me on Purim, which is like, I guess the Jewish Halloween, where I was like, it's like actually a mitzvah to drink. No joke. I don't drink very often, but I was pretty intoxicated. Let me just see if I can find this video. I was actually singing. Here it is. Here, let's see if I don't know if this will come out on the. Hold on, that's my kid. Can you hear? Hold on. It's not bad, right?
Dude, you have an excellent instrument.
Thank you, my friend. That sounds dirty. Just saying. Hold on, listen. Jewish music. But anyway, I love music. I like singing.
Beautiful.
It shows my career path. It's good. I'm just saying. Anyway, go on. Yes.
Well, I want to say, you think career path
Right.
is one thing at the beginning of that path, but it's going to go somewhere, right? So I thought music. Yeah, I'm going to do music. After I graduated college, I was working for a music booking agency.
Wow.
I started as the office manager, but I became college booking agent,
Wow.
and I was doing sales, and I was doing event management on site, and I was all that kind of stuff.
Dude, you're full of
because-
surprises, man.
So I was doing that, and I realized, who's making money here? It's not the musicians. and it's not really our agency. It's the people who exploiting the musicians, and I didn't enjoy that. I didn't like that piece of the business at all.
I hear that.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to be a monk for music. I'm going to go to graduate school. I'm going to study music composition 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm going to learn this language of music.
Okay.
So I went to Butler University in Indianapolis. Excellent school there, Jordan College of Fine Arts. And it was like 2 years of my retirement early. You were talking about bucket lists. Forget about bucket lists, do it now. I said, you know what? I can wait and work like a dog for the rest of my life and have this thing I've always wanted to do, or I can do it right now.
Sweet.
So then I graduated grad school in 2008 and the economy collapsed. Oh, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Luckily, I had these marketing skills and I had these relationship building skills, which are essential to being a musician. To be a musician is not just to write music. You got to find your players. You got to arrange the rehearsals. You got to find venues. You got to promote your
I gotta
concert.
interrupt you, bro. I gotta interrupt you because I think about this so often.
Yeah.
Right? Here's my therapy. All right, this is me like lying on a couch and being open with you guys and with you. Like I think about this very often. Like I work with all these companies. I'm working in marketing, doing my thing. But then I think to myself, like, are these skills or these things that I'm doing for companies sustainable long term? Can I do this when I'm 80? Like if I have a relationship with a journalist and I can help with PR, those journalists are gonna like be replaced in a couple of years. Like, what do I actually bring to the table? And then I realize, and I tell myself this all the time, relationship building, people skills, these are skills. Like, you're good at them, so for you, take it for granted. But like, if someone could write code, for them it comes like naturally, so maybe they don't realize that it's actually a unique skill. I can't write code, right? So what me and you can do in terms of building relationships, building trust, building, that loyalty and everything that we do in marketing, for us it's kind of intuitive and obvious, but it's actually a skill that most people don't have.
Yeah, and it's about thinking about your audience, having empathy, because you need that when you're writing music.
Taking the words out of my mouth, man. Empathy is my word. I love empathy.
If you're going to write music for an audience, okay, unless you're just a jerk, which lots of musicians are, if you're going to write music for an audience, think about what it's like to sit in that audience. What emotions do you want them to feel? What emotions are you tapping at when you're writing this thing?
Which is the same thing you're doing as a marketer.
100%.
Beautiful. So now let's transition because we're at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and my editor gives me a hard stop at 10 minutes.
Okay.
Transition into what you do today and how you got there.
Okay. Well, there was a little a gap there. As I said, the economy collapsed. People weren't really paying musicians very much.
Right.
I started working in nonprofit. I worked.
Just kidding.
I worked first for the Jewish Council on Urban Affairs in Chicago.
Cool.
Working on I was their teen initiatives organizer,
Nice.
and we got Jewish students from all over the country to work with high schoolers from other communities around Chicago, where we work on social justice issues, take a look at the traditions of the communities we were visiting, like in Little Village, which is a neighborhood in Chicago that's mostly Mexican American. They had an environmental justice organization with a summer teen program. So our teens and their teens toured their neighborhood and did work to clean up the environment there and stuff like that. Then I moved on to Hillel, not you, but the organization that works with Jewish college students, and I was there for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
You've done a lot, man.
Thank you.
It's impressive stuff.
So I was eventually senior Jewish educator for Metro Chicago Hillel, which was a multi-campus Hillel. We had 7 campuses. So I worked with students from all over the city, artists, engineers, and everything in between. Not to mention interfacing with the nonprofit world. So I was, in addition to marketing and promoting our programs and teaching students how to put on programs and how to market themselves, I was also doing fundraising and public speaking and all of these other things. So it was great while it lasted. Like all things, sunrise, sunset. Sometimes it's time to move on.
Give me a little music with that.
Yeah. What's the one?
There's sunrise.
If I were a rich man, I love this one. If I were a rich man, all day long I'd bitty bitty bum. If I were a
wealthy man.
That's what he does. He bitty bitty bums all day long. Okay, no, just kidding.
I'll take it.
So I moved on and I wanted to get involved in high tech. I had friends who worked for some tech companies. I ended up working for a company called Cleverbridge, an excellent subscription management platform.
Love it.
Like I said, I started customer service, talking to little old ladies who didn't know the software they bought and how to get help with it and who to contact.
Okay.
So, and I felt like, in a certain sense, what I was doing there was more helpful to people than my nonprofit work and my social activism.
Impactful.
Because in that moment, I could solve their problem. And I can express some empathy. And for someone who's been calling around to try and figure something out, they could get me. I was a real person. I would listen to them.
Every rule is meant to be broken, and the 10-minute rule has officially been broken.
Yay! I love it.
Please, proceed.
So I started working for Cleverbridge.
Yeah.
They are just, I can't say enough about how wonderful a company it was to work for.
Okay.
They'd love to promote from within. So I worked real hard. My work was recognized. I looked for opportunities to write because I love to write. To me,
Fantastic writer.
writing is like composing music only with words.
Hey,
you know,
man,
I love it.
I love it.
And it's just, and I love language, and I love playing with stuff and finding that perfect
Lego.
phrase.
Yes, gotcha.
So I wrote a training manual, a best practices manual for their customer support training.
So I started my career, by the way.
Really?
As a technical writer, writing user guides, yeah.
I did that in college too. That's for another interview.
Topic for another time.
And then I got an internship on the client marketing services team. This is the team that was doing marketing for people who use their payment platform, right? And so I learned about affiliate marketing and email marketing there. So I knew the language side, of it, the content side of it, but how the mechanisms fit together, how it all
synergy.
Exactly, and how you get that Rube Goldberg of automation to deliver for you and for the customers and for the people that are reading what you're putting out there, right? And I got to work on the blog. Nice. Also, I moved into the corporate marketing team, so I got to market Cleverbridge themselves.
We were going to talk about Powtoon today?
We're going to get there, I promise.
I love it. I'm trying to get him to be less subtle. Can you imagine? He's like all about subtlety.
So, summer 2016.
Yeah.
My husband is accepted to the archaeology program at Tel Aviv University. He got it's now finished with his degree as a master's in Near East archaeology and biblical history. So it was just an amazing opportunity, a moment, and again, why put it off until you're retired and your body hurts and you can't do stuff? Forget it. No, right now. So we moved here to Tel Aviv.
Love it.
He went to school and I got to work looking for work, and luckily I had a very dear friend of mine, Ari Sherbel, who had been with Powtoon since almost the beginning. I just emailed him out of the blue, hey, we're in town now. We were actually staying with his sister until we found a place to live, and I was like, I'd love to know more about what you guys are doing at Powtoon. He goes, we're looking for a copywriter. Just send your resume. Send your resume right now. So I remember thinking about it. I thought about the subject line, copywriter seeks to blow the roof off Powtoon. I think that's what it was, something like that.
Okay. So you did.
So I did, and since then I started as the head copywriter, which meant not only writing content but also touching stuff for the product, working with product marketing to come up with new features and how we would pitch those, and also reaching out to customers and learning what's working for them, what's not, what are their pain points. It's the same thing as customer support.
Okay.
Getting that empathy, figuring out how do I solve this problem.
Right.
Okay,
and then?
And then, so we've been growing like crazy. Powtoon is
understatement of the century.
Insane, because we have this traffic machine. People get addicted to how much fun it is to create something, to turn their ideas into reality, right? And they get it out there, and other people see it, and they want to share it, and so we have all these people coming to us, right? And in addition to that, we've been improving like every couple of weeks we have a release, the product gets better, and it's one of the things you mentioned, that we're bootstrapped, and in addition to that, we've got a product that does what we say it does, and that's hard to find sometimes.
Today, your role at Powtoon is?
Now I'm head of content marketing. We've expanded. We're doing this year.
Wait, let me give you an introduction on that front, because that's important, right? Okay. So, people talk about content all the time. That's like the biggest buzzword of our generation right now. But we look at most startups, most tech companies, most companies in general, if they're cutting edge, they're doing a blog.
Right.
What is Powtoon doing?
Well, we have a number of avenues we're trying to tackle all at once. First of all, we have a blog. Yes, we do. You need to have a blog. You need to have an address. You need to have some real estate that you're making valuable and that can connect people directly to your product.
Yep, you got it. Blog, what else?
We're very active on social media.
Huge
on multiple fronts. So that's LinkedIn, and that's, by the way, it's also trying to find that language for that channel, right?
Super important.
That's LinkedIn. That's Facebook. In addition to our page on Facebook, right? We also have a community on Facebook.
And it's massive.
It's massive. So these are all channels, right? Places where we can place content, where we can put content. The real fun comes in thinking about the scavenger hunt of it all, right? Getting yourself in the head of that customer. So they've seen this recorded webinar. Should they get served an email invitation to sign up for a live webinar? Right. Should they check out our archive? Should we send them over to our YouTube channel?
Wait, so hold on. Let's just actually go in order here. We said we got the blog, we got huge channels on social, we got webinars, We got a podcast. We got a video now.
Yep.
Ask Johnny. We got
another video series getting ready to launch next month. Shh.
Don't tell anyone. We got ebooks. We got the whole, literally the entire spectrum of content.
I would
and
also,
you're running it all.
I would also point out there, so there's that inbound content marketing that we're putting out there to capture people by being valuable and by having information that they're looking for, right? So that they can.
It's not push, like shove, like sales.
No, exactly. It's not heavy-handed. Use this product. Use this product. It's talking about how do you tell a story that's going to land, that's meaningful. How do you capture attention in our hyper distracted world?
Since me and you both live in this world, we know how ADD all of our viewers are, and therefore we're at 15 minutes, and we're going to have to stop. But I want to ask one last question with a call to action / actionable thing we can do here.
Yeah.
Anyone who's watching this pretty much is thinking to themselves, all right, this guy's doing, webinars and podcasts and blogging. How does he measure success? How does he do it? How does he manage it all? What's the story? They want to pick your brain. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
What is the best way for someone watching this to be able to reach out to you and say, I want to have a cup of coffee with you?
Absolutely. Well, on Twitter, I'm at Nick_Liebman, Liebman.
All right, put his handle right there, please,
Absolutely.
Joseph. Yes.
And Facebook, Nick Liebman.
Are you cool with email or you're not so into it? You can say no.
Let's keep it on those social
Twitter
channels,
or Facebook.
That's okay. Also, if
tweet the guy.
Yeah, tweet at me. Let me know. I am also on Instagram, though a little bit less active there. at Netzach David. NETZACHDAVID.
Beautiful. All right, so follow him up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
And I'm on Medium. I also write on Medium, so check it out.
All right, excellent. Bottom line is, reach out to the guy. I mean, I work with a lot of content people, right? Some really talented people, but I would say out of all the people that I work with in terms of the scope of what you're doing, you're by far number one.
Oh, man.
No, you're doing a lot of cool stuff,
I got chills.
Oh, come on, man. Fantastic. I'm excited. But now let's get back to this morning.
Yes.
So we did a cool session this morning on PR and content. It was good, right? I think it was
really
good.
It
resonated with the...
It resonated. It really helped me get a sense of, I could get a vision of the infrastructure we need to put in place to get to that place. And the theory makes perfect sense, and I love how it dovetailed with the stuff we're already doing.
Thank you. And I want to say one last thing, and that's it. We're done. While I was quote unquote lecturing and teaching, I'm sure I could probably learn more from you than I can teach you. So we're gonna have to have a session, flip the table, and you tell me your world, because I have a lot to learn from you, specifically when it comes to like webinars and actually not monetizing, but driving actual like clicks and real like users and downloads, etc. from webinars, because I've never actually been successful. That's just one example. Other things I can learn from you. We'll continue the conversation. I'm fairly convinced I'm going to get pings from people saying we want more Nick, so stay tuned for 2.0.
There's more of me. Happy New Year, you guys. Have a wonderful 2019.
Thank you for your time, bro.
Thank you.
Made it home, and I'm heading out in 2 hours to do a birthright talk in Ashkelon. I'm always on the fence whether to bring my my camera to these talks, but I'll opt out this time. I hope the audio was okay today because, like I said, I'm trying out a new mic, and tomorrow is going to be a super geeky day. Pretty excited about that. See you then.